Hello YouTubers, Z over here. Today I want to talk to you guys about when do you let the fast group go. I made a video earlier where I was talking about you got to ride with people faster than you. But there are times when you have to pretty much say goodbye to the fast group. If you go out and you're riding with people that are too far above your level, you actually can do more harm than good to your training. If you're riding with a group and you're in the back and you're dying, what I mean is you're not in control of your pedaling, as far as the smoothness and all of that, and you're doing what we call pedaling squares, that group is just too fast for you. That's when you need to let them go, because you want to always stay within yourself. So before you get to where you lose control of your pedaling and you're with a group, you're better off letting them go, because chances are other people are going to drop. Because you stayed within yourself, you will probably catch up to these people and actually pass them because you didn't go too far into the red. So you want to ride with a group that will push you but not destroy you physically or your morale. It's a tough balance, because yes, you need to ride with faster riders, but you don't need to ride with riders that are too far above the level you're at, because you don't want to get discouraged and you don't want to pick up bad habits. So if you're not able to think about your pedaling, staying smooth, think about your breathing even though you're working hard, then that pace is just too hard for you at that time. So there's no problem with letting the group go. You're better off letting them go, and chances are catching up to them later at the stop or wherever, because hopefully you know the route. There's no shame in that. That's the proper way to do it. Don't stay in a group to where you're riding cross-eyed and you can't even see the next pothole that comes up. That's not training. That's just you way outside your limit. So remember that the next time you hook up with a group. Stay within yourself. If they're going too fast, before you go beyond where you need to be, where you lose control, wave the other riders in. If there's a gap opening, let them ride with a group and you just drift back and ride by yourself or with the other riders that have fallen off the pace. And eventually you will go further and further with them. But don't stay with them to where you're losing control. You're not in control of your pedaling, or your wits are not about you. That's not training. So you don't want to pick up bad habits. I wanted to talk about that real briefly because it came to my mind when I was out today spinning around. And I felt like it needed to be covered. It's a tough balance, and I'm sure it raises questions as to, I want to get faster. Well, you're not going to get faster overnight. So you want to get faster under control. So you want to gradually raise your ceiling. You don't want to blow the roof off. That's the best analogy I can use. So when you're just riding to where you can't even feel your legs, or you're out of control. No. You back off and you stay within yourself. Let them go. There's no shame in that. We've all been there. So don't worry about getting dropped. Every rider who's worth the salt have gotten dropped. It's not a problem. It's not a shameful thing. When you get dropped, you need to know why. If you're getting dropped because what I just explained, the group is too far above your level, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're getting dropped because your training is behind, there's nothing wrong with that. Where it becomes ridiculous is, and I'll give you some examples in a little bit, is you come out every week and you get dropped and you don't know why and you don't do anything about it. Okay? So I'll use me for an example. My first USCF race I did ever, I was dropped. Pretty much had to be taken off the course because I was dropped and lapped. It was a short circuit race. The next race, I was in the break. So we're talking 6 weeks between. And the point I'm trying to make is, in those 6 weeks, I identified what was wrong, what I needed to work on. Boom. So that was no problem getting dropped. And even the more experienced riders, when they saw me, because I didn't do a whole lot of races, because I didn't like to race to just be in the pack. When they saw me at that race 6 weeks later, they knew that I was a guy who had been lapped. Because it's a small group, you know. You have to be like a family. You all do the same races throughout the year. And they patted me on the back and they started giving me advice because they saw that, wow, this guy didn't quit. And so what I'm trying to get to is, if you get dropped on Saturday, okay, what are you going to do on Sunday till the next Saturday to make sure the same thing doesn't happen in the same spot? You go and you work on your weaknesses, you work on the things you need to work on. I mean, we got guys coming to one of the groups I ride with, and for 2 years they get dropped in the same spot every Saturday. They say good morning and then they get dropped. I mean, they don't even last 3 miles. But they keep coming back and the same thing keep happening. Now that's ridiculous. Because obviously they have no goals. There is no way you're going to get up early Saturday morning so you can say good morning to a bunch of guys. Obviously you want to ride with these guys. So what are you doing to enable you to ride with these guys? That's what's important. Getting dropped is not the problem. Do you know why you got dropped? And what are you doing about it? What are you doing between the last time you got dropped and the next time you come back out? So you get dropped this week. You need to identify what the issue is with your riding. What do you need to work on? Intensity. You got to get some distance in, whatever. But when you come back the next week, you need to go further. Then you don't care about getting dropped again because everybody sees that. Everybody sees that, oh, this guy, he keeps coming and he's lasting longer and longer. Before you know it, some people are going to start giving you advice or suggestions. So if you're coming back and the same thing is happening over and over, you obviously you're doing nothing different, then yeah, I'd hang my head. But if you're doing something in between the group rides, in between getting dropped in the next week, and you're making an improvement and there's progress, hold your head up high. Because every cyclist has gotten dropped for one reason or another at one point or another. It's no big deal. It's nothing to be ashamed of. So don't worry about getting dropped. You need to ride with a group that can drop you because that's what will make you push yourself and strive for more. So don't fret about it. So just make sure that you know why it happens. So don't stay in a group to where your legs turn to rubber and you're worried about how it's going to look if you get dropped. Who cares? You know, nobody cares. It's no big deal. And there is no cyclist that's going to come to you and say, ha, you got dropped. You know, because chances are very likely they've gotten dropped too. Nobody really cares. It's not a big deal. You got your goals and you're using the group to get you there. That's all that matters. So I just wanted to cover that today. Leave your comments and questions below. But next time you're out, don't worry about getting dropped. If you're feeling good, take a chance. Go off the front. So what if you got dropped? You were off the front. You know, if you never try and fail, you'll never know. So get out there and stay within yourself. Know when you're beyond your limit and try to just push that ceiling a little bit under control. Let the group go and without losing form. You don't want to lose form when you're in the group. That's the key. And yeah, I'm glad I got that out because that's the main thing I wanted to talk about. Do not lose form. If you're pedaling squares, you're not learning. Your body is beyond its capability at that time. So once you get to where you feel your form deteriorating, let the group go, back off slightly, and stay on that limit where you still have form, but it's hard. You will improve, guaranteed. So be careful out there, and thanks for tuning in.